Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So we're going to call the Andrew McQUEEN Civic Center and ask the meeting for August 18, 2025. We're going to call the meeting to order. You have an agenda in front of you. Are there any amendments or changes to the agenda?
President, I have a motion that we use this agenda as a working tool for our meeting.
The move to proper second, all in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion is carried. Okay, in your packet, you should have the minutes for July 28, 2025. They were sent to us earlier, so if you have time to look over, if you're ready, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second. The move to proper second, all in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion is carried. Are there any public requests?
No, sir.
Any old business?
No old business.
Okay. All right, that brings us down to item number 6, which is new business.
Okay, under new business, A, the budget meeting, I've been in meeting with Ms. Stansel, county administrator, as well as Ms. Vaughn Geary, the county, and we've sort of gone over our budget. Nothing has been finalized at this point. We saw where we could probably cut in some different areas. We're in the process of trying to get a new truck, so we were hoping to cut some of the fat out of the budget in order to, because the truck that we have now, our maintenance group truck is really scrapped at this point. So we're still in the process of formalizing that budget, and as soon as it's been formalized, I'll bring it to the board.
All right, that's that forward truck.
Yes. They've had it for a while.
They've been dead one.
Okay, next thing, I have a letter of resignation from one of our part-time people. He's been here one of the part-time people who came in and has done a really good job for us, but he had some conflicts that started coming up, and he felt it was best. I do have a letter in your file. So we're asking that this board go ahead and accept his letter of resignation.
Second.
The move to proper second, all in favor? Ayes have it, motion is carried.
Okay, and the next item is a letter that I prepared where we've been interviewing several replacements for the gentleman who just resigned, and I'd like to bring forward this letter of individuals that we thought best be able to serve the needs of the Civic and Ag Center. So this is a letter that I would like to present to you all, and if it's approved, I would like to present it to the Board of Supervisors for their approval.
I just sent mine approval.
Yes, sir. That's all.
You don't have a problem, do you have to, well, we're in the nomination, have a time?
No, sir.
So the rate of pay an hour would be similar to what
It should be the same thing. This person that does have experience, he's worked at the Landry Center up in up north, and he's familiar with what it is that we do here. We feel that we would be able to fit right in. And what I would like to do is pass by the board and start the process with the county on his hiring.
All right, problem with this?
I don't have a problem.
Just you want to take a motion to approve?
That's a move.
The motion is second, all in favor? Ayes have it, motion is carried. Okay, you can do financial report.
Okay, under the financials, I do have copies of the information that was presented by Fred T. Million Group, and that pretty well shows the front page, page 1 pretty much shows what the balances were in each of the accounts as of July 31st. And if there's any particular item as you go throughout the financial, if there's any particular item that you want me to talk a little bit more about, the county's pretty proud of is that we do get those checks over there to them, probably try to at least $15,000 a month. So that's something that's, and like I explained to them, that means that we're turning over some monies here. In order to be able to do that, we're turning over some monies. That's a good thing.
Let me call you back. Motion that we accept the financial report as printed.
Second. Been moved and properly second that we accept the financial report as printed. All in favor?
Okay, the next item, under B of the financial report, is the uses for the month of July and August. And for the month of July, those were the items or events that were held here at the Ag Center, and the total amount received from that, from those events is shown at the bottom right. And when you see the Stop the Violence Forum, July 12, 25, there was a no charge. We were listed as one of the co-sponsors for that, and that's the forum that they had here on July 12. And on the next page for the August activity report, these were events that we have scheduled. Most of them, some of them have already been, of course, conducted, but these are events that we already had scheduled and deposits paid. Some have already been completed.
How did the event of the nurse go?
I was going to go over that in my monthly update. promoted to speak on that as well. But I can,
I see that now, okay.
all right, so this one I can read on that one. So the next one, next page is the cash reconciliation report for the comedy show that was held. It wasn't as well attended as we had hoped. But it has some really good acts on there along with the R&B artists that did show come. But this just shows what our cash register report showed what we did in concession based on the start amount along with the amount that was made for the people that did come. So that was the only event that we had this month during that, to that time, that we had to open up the session. We do have some other functions coming up. Another one coming up next Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, that I'll speak on in the monthly update, where we'll have our concession open as well.
Any questions? So I entertain a motion, and we kind of voted, we don't go to the block to accept the usage and the concession reports. I can get a motion to accept that. We voted the financials, and we continue on with the usage and the concession.
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking for a motion to accept. Second. Okay. Then moving properly second that we accept the usage of July and August and the concession report. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion is carried. So that brings us now to the monthly.
Right, the monthly update, as I was stating earlier, on the 23rd of this month, we have another R&B concert that's going to take place here. The gentleman who put on the one for July with the Hacker West Love Show, gentleman, he sort of appreciated what we had to offer and did it pretty decent, I assume. And within 2 weeks, he was back wanting to do a one that we're going to do on the 23rd. So we're hoping that it goes just as good as the one prior that he did, and that'll continue to encourage other promoters to come out and utilize the facility. So that is scheduled for the 23rd, which is next Saturday. The comedy show and the Revenge of the Nerds. The Revenge of the Nerds wasn't nearly as well attended either. When I think about 50, from what I saw, approximately 50 parents, kids total. We had great speakers, mostly if not all from the Greenwood, LaFleur County area, who went through the public school system here, from pilots to former professional football players and dentists. We had a really good variety of people who perhaps during the time they were in school looked at it being nerds because they were pretty smart. They did their work and did what they were supposed to do. So it was a little disappointing in my mind that we didn't have the type of numbers here. And it was a free event, and they did have door prizes that they had given away, some really nice prizes. And the gentleman who put that on is Kwame Moore. He's the nephew of the late Robert Moore, a gentleman who wanted to come back to Greenwood, even though he lives in the Jackson area now, but he comes back to Greenwood from time to time and wanted to be able to do some things back at home that he saw doing, was able to do in the Jackson area. But it was a really good event. However, like I say, the attendance just wasn't there as far as coming out. And when we had the comedy show later at night, as I stated earlier, he didn't have the type of attendance that we had hoped that he would. Really good acts. I truly feel at a price that the event was $20 tickets. When you have about 7 acts along with a R&B artist, who's a well-known R&B artist, at $20, it was unbelievable to me that the numbers just weren't there. That same, to me, from places I've gone, that same show that he put on here at a $20 ticket, if that was in Jackson or South Haven or on the coast, that's anywhere from $60 tickets to 70 or 80 at the door. So it's just a matter of, and I know he did a great job at advertising. We had it on our marquee, we put it on our social media pages, and it just, I guess people really just pick and choose what it is that they want to attend. You know, and even with that mindset, oftentimes we're seeing what Greenwood doesn't have. That's the whole idea. We go out and try to recruit people, and people make the investment. And because one doesn't always have to travel north or south for some of these same acts. You know, sometimes we bring them right here at home. It's just a matter of people supporting it. So, but be that as it may, it wasn't nearly as well attended as we had hoped, nor was the revenge of another. I would hope that he would continue.
I'm gonna ask this question too, looking at the dates, do we feel like maybe it had some impact on students that's going, people will take a weekend for this?
Maybe, but I just recall that the Tuesday, August 2nd, which was the first Tuesday in August, was, remember, a year prior was the first, when we had done our first Battle of DJs. And the attendance for the Battle of DJ, it was a mini concert. So I just think people go to and support what it is that they want to support. So, but at $20, because ours price for the Battle of the DJ was similar, very much similar. And we had a really great turnout, and that was that very first Saturday, which was August 3rd of 2024. And this was the exact, a year later. So, but it could have been, but, you know, because I've heard, you know, so I had some even ask, well, why didn't he bring a Ricky Smiley or a D.L. Hughley? Well, he wouldn't have gotten $20 tickets. You know, you're talking about anywhere from 150, you know, and up, see. So from that standpoint, you know, you can get good entertainment at a reasonable price. But if you want the top of the line, if you want that Lamborghini, you got to pay Lamborghini prices.
Well, you know, some of us, in my opinion,
Yes, sir.
as far as the revenge of the nerves, some of us have an issue with being black, being successful. We have that jealousy mentality that should not be. Well, we have that ingrained in us, that he or she think you're above or they're above someone else. And I'm not going to go here with he thinks he's all that.
He was one of the speakers.
Right, right. And because when we speak well, when we enunciate our words, or understand what we're saying, we have a problem with that. And I'm not going to go here. You know, so I'm not going to pay whatever, even though that was free. But we have to change our mindset.
Sure.
And it's up to the, I don't know what's up to the parents. And some of the parents feel the same way. And because if you're brought up in a home, in our opinion, if you're brought up in a home and children hear you downgrade
Yes.
another child or another child's parent, then the child that's in the home will beget the same attitude. So it is a ripple effect,
Yes.
in our opinion. So we have to change that.
And you look at it from the standpoint, I think it was a good start with it, because it is a cultural shift. You know, ironically, had it been, and I hate to say this, but it had been some kids who were athletically about the thing, it may be a whole different ball. But you know, there has to be a shift towards understanding what that academic bubble looks like. And like I said, with the sense, because you understand some of the experience in those classrooms with some of those so-called nerds, they did not necessarily reach that ability. Not that they could, but they did not, and so that was probably what was it. But we have to keep on with it. You know. And we just have to work to make that change.
I know his parents, her parents, and they walk around their heads in there, and they don't speak to me, and this type of thing. So
changing of the mindset, for sure. Okay, the next item C, we have sent out two contracts to a gentleman who's interested in bringing a country artist here on the 19th of December, and an R&B artist on New Year's Eve, if I'm not mistaken. That's it. New Year's Eve. So we've sent the contracts out, waiting signatures as well as a check. And hopefully we'll make that healthy that on tap. And under D, we have spelled out a contract as well for Little People's wrestling match. And hopefully he seemed to be very interested. And he sent me a lot of his literature and sent me to his Facebook along with his YouTube page to show me some of the things that they do. And this is looking at this is going to be on Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening. So he's supposed to have been set out X number of complimentary tickets along with tickets for purchase. But we have sent the contracts out. Now we're just pretty much waiting for material. The Stop the Violence forum that we also co-sponsored was well attended. And there was a lot of questions and suggestions that came from that meeting. So now we're looking at just to find out what's the next step. So we co-sponsored that and the first one went well. Under F, we have agriculture summer promoters who visited the Agri Center and interested. I have a gentleman who's interested in wanting to do a rodeo late October, early November. And another gentleman who had come out and wanted to do a horse show in March. I did speak with some of the courthouse personnel, and they're very much interested in doing what it takes to get to Agri Center to the point it can be utilized. Mr. Jerry Smith and some of his maintenance men had come out and they did a really good job of tilling up the floor and coming in and raking it. We got our tractor running and where we can do the necessary things that we need to do. But we've had some promoters to come out and take a look at it and say they're very much interested. And so, like, I feel that once we get that very first one going, pretty much like we did here at CIVIC Center, others will begin to utilize it. So we're still working on that one today. Okay. And back in July the 28th, the GLCSD held this convocation here. Of course, always so really proud of our staff here because the place is always going to be immaculate, it's going to be on point. Everything went well, and we're looking at trying to eventually get the graduation back over here. So, but that was well attended, of course, with all their personnel here, and things went well. And under H, we have the 2 dates set, which is for, last year we sponsored our Highway 82 basketball challenge, and we had like 14 or 12 teams that come out and play throughout the state. It went so well last year, we've had a number of coaches from other areas who were not here, who were interested in coming and playing. So now we're extending it not only from July the 25th, which is the Tuesday, November the 25th, which is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And we're also looking at doing one December 29th, which is that Monday following Christmas. I've already been in contact with officials from GLCSD. They are committed to letting their 3 teams, boys as well as girls, high schoolers, play in it. And once we have those teams secured, that's when we started reaching out to local other teams. Because the whole idea is to be sure that none of the teams here locally play teams that we're going to recruit during the regular season. You have to play teams that you don't play. So far we have July, I keep saying July, so far we already have November schedule completed, and we're working on the December 29th schedule. So as time try to get sponsorship for it, to help offset the cost. But right now, there's some excitement about that, and I feel really excited about having basketball back here at the Andrew McQueen Civic Center. So that was all I had on the monthly update.
Sounds good.
Get this in. Hope everything, I want to hear from.
Pardon?
Don't forget to send it over there to, Sean Roller, I want to hear from.
I got you. I understand. I understand.
Okay, if that's the case, are there any comments?
I just want to say I got here a few minutes early, and I walked around just being nosy. And I see that everything looks nice, and I just want to tell you that.
Appreciate it. No, that's not being no, that's just keeping us on our tiptoes. Sure. Yes, sir.
And I'll make this comment to you, that we kind of kicked around and joked at the last meeting with this being your anniversary. So, I just want to let you know. That
You said this is the last year anniversary?
Yeah, but since anniversary. But just let you know, Ms. Johnson, just keep on what you're doing. You know, I think it's getting better. You know, we're getting a lot more work done, a whole lot less complaints, so we get some things.
That's what we're
And
calling it.
it's, and I'll just say this to you, since we were close in time, we went from almost, at one point, a 3-hour meeting to
Oh,
yeah, so we're seeing some improvements.
Oh, yeah.
But just keep it up.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate it, man.
I thank you.
You got a good secretary. We ain't gonna leave.
Ain't no question.
You give it a chance. All right. And that being said, there are no further comments, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
We've been moved and properly second, all in favor?
uh,
None opposed, ayes have it.
Absolutely appreciate it. Like I said, we have some, Mr. Sam, let's go, let's take a look.
How you doing? You okay? Doing good? Set up my car? Yes, sir. Let him get him straight. Because you don't ever find me other pieces. Never. I know we're gonna do. Remember this.
On 49 this September. Okay, break down by the same signature.
Yeah. We can't sign it.
Yes, I'm doing something.
Sign it. Come on, should it?
What you charge?
I did. How long did it? Okay. Down my phone number. I'm going to McCall.
What's your name?
This is 2-9.
oh man,
Wait a
listen,
second.
it gotta get at least 30 degrees cooler those while.
I got you, Natalie.
It's
There's only one out there now.
It's right there.
Yeah.
And every part of it, I got this shield that comes out, some of these other things, both I got some together, put all that wind to this, and I do mess up some.
Man, I wish y'all would know the right with that leather on.
You're right. Now, I'm gonna be honest, when I move into that bother, but I mind is perforated.